Oh boy. Ever since November 7th update for Become the Kill Rico came out, I was happy, of course. Of course, I wasn't just like, it was a good update, don't get me wrong. Yes, I know it had my character DBX in it and all, but I wasn't just happy about the update because of just DBX. Like the update in general was just really good. Like the new killers in general, the new survivors in general, like, I don't know, dude. The update in general is just really well done. Harry and Mana and all that, they did a pretty good job. And I guess you could say I did a good job as well, considering, I mean, the OSC I made for the game, which was really just DBX's chase theme. I mean, it's not really the best music I made, considering I really made it in a music extinguisher in Little Big Planet 3 on PlayStation. But yeah, other than that, um, yeah. But now, sometimes I'm beginning to question myself, and it's not a bad way. It's not to make others sound bad or anything. It's just, how the fuck did me, Blue Cyber Studios, start off as a normal player that nobody knew about? It all started just me playing the game as just a normal average player and become the killer that no one really knew about. All the way to the guy that made DBX, to a known content creator. Okay, I'm not that popular, but like, you get what I mean. A known content creator throughout to become the killer community in general. How the hell did this all happen? What caused me to start off all the way from just a normal player to just a known content creator and pretty much a creator of DBX, most likely? Well, actually, I am the creator of DBX, but still, it's like, it just started off as me being a normal player, and now my character DBX is in pretty much two games that Harry made: Become the Killer Legacy and Become the Killer Recode. But it's like, how did I even get to this point? Well, I'm glad I asked myself that, because I'm going to talk about myself, specifically my history with this game. From the very beginning when I first played the game to currently now. So, I remember when I first discovered Become the Killer back in 2014. No, 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 not the game wasn't fucking made that long ago. Jesus. Um, 2024. Yes, it was 2024 when I first discovered this game. Now, at the time, yes, I still had a YouTube channel, obviously, and it was still called Blue Cyber Studios. But I never made content about the game at the time. The only Roblox games I really made content about during the time was Pillage Ace, mainly just Pillage Ace 2, and that was just mainly about it. That was before Forsaken even came to the picture, because when I played when I played Become the Killer, Forsaken wasn't really a game I knew or heard about at the time. And yes, I have played Forsaken during its testing phases, but it's like, see, like, it was such a different time. It was during the glory days of Pillage Ace 2. It was different. It was so much different during the time. Where the one Roblox game I just played the most was just Pillage Ace 2. And yeah, basically, this was way before Become the Killer Legacy's Halloween Update 2024. Yes, we're going all the way back to when I first played the game. That's how long ago it was. It was like, forget about it now. Like, forget about me just being a normal, average, casual player and Become the Killer all the way back in 2014 to now just being one of the most, at least, well-known people in the community. It's crazy how that even happened like that. I'm still grateful about it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, holy shit, the fact that it just started off all the way back to just me being a normal player in Legacy back in 2014. Uh, no, 2024. Sorry, 2024. I need to fucking get. I need to fucking my brain. I swear, 2024. Yeah. So let's go all the way back to when I first played the game, shall we? Now, as I said before, at the time, my main Roblox game I played at the time was Pillar Chase 2. That was the king of asymmetrical horror games at the time. Even though Become the Kill is not an ASIM, but still, at the time, my main game that I would play the most was literally just Pillar Chase 2. And again, I have played other Roblox games before, but I mainly played Pillar Chase 2 the most. Again, this was during the glory days of Pillar Chase 2, where like PCX never existed back then. Don't get me wrong, I still love PCX, but like this was before PCX even came to the picture, my guy. Like this was before like Pillar Chase 2's downfall. But so when did I first discover Become the Killer back in 2014? How did it all happen? Well, during my good old OG days of playing Pillar Chase 2, during its glory days, I got curious about something. I wanted to see if there was another killer-based game that I could enjoy. A game where I could play as Killer. Because I love games like Dead by Daylight. I love Pillar Chase 2. And I also love Sonic.exe The Disasters. Because that was another ASIM game I would occasionally play too. So it's like, at the time, I want to see if there's another game where I can also play as the killer. Like, play as the killer and kill survivors who are also players. Another PvP killer versus survivor game. And when I was using the Roblox search bar for that one moment, I discovered a game that caught my attention. Become a Killer. Now, when I read the title, I was like, oh, Become the Killer? Huh, let's see what it's all about, huh? I joined a server in the game for the very first time. Again, this was back in 2014, so Become the Killer in the Legacy era was very different during that time. And holy shit, it was. So, I first played Become the Killer for the very first time. I was an absolute newbie at the game. I didn't know how to play the game well back then. I didn't know which killer is the best use, and I didn't know how to counter against certain things back then. So I was really bad at the game. I would die a lot. I would even die a lot as Survivor. I would die a lot as both Killer and Survivor. So yeah, when I first played Become the Killer, I was pretty bad. But that didn't bother me. I knew I was probably going to do bad. Well, actually, no, I never knew I was going to do bad, but like, then again, I was new to Become the Killer. So usually when I'm new to a game, of course I'm going to suck at the game at first. Let's explain my experience when I first played Become the Killer. It was kind of nostalgic now thinking about it now. I don't know, it's like it shouldn't be nostalgic because this is 2024. This is during modern era still, but it's like I don't know. Playing the game all the way back then now, it just feels nostalgic in a sense. I don't know, it's just the game's atmosphere just gave me the whole nostalgic vibe, or like what Roblox games used to be like back in the old days, you know? Not that kind of nostalgia, but like kind of in a sense. Because there were Roblox games that were kind of like Become the Killer in a sense. Survive and Kill the Killer in Area 51. And probably some other underrated Roblox games I never touched before and such. But it's like, I don't know, it's just that was what Become the Killer was like to me when I first played it. It was that sort of vibe. Especially what the game used to look like back then. It had the whole horror vibe going on. It was more dark. It was more creepy in a sense. It had a whole horror vibe going on with it. It was a completely different vibe during the time. And I still enjoyed it. Do I still enjoy the game's vibe now? Yes. But I don't know. When I first played the game back in 2024, it was a different kind of time. The time when I was just a full on newbie that was pretty bad at it at first. I didn't complain. I never was toxic at the game. I just, yeah. Now, let's get back to what happened when I first played the game. When I first played it. So, when I first started playing Become the Killer, I remember certain things. I remember the lobby. I remember the good old line when I first stepped into that Become the Killer cave. You can't run. I remember that very, very iconic evil voice line. The moment I go into that cave, you can't run. That was never in the game anymore, which sucked. But now remembering that iconic voice line was kind of iconic. It's pretty nostalgic. And soon I would end up in the killer lobby. Many killers to choose from. Keep in mind, I was a newbie, so I didn't have all the killers unlocked. And I didn't even have the Game Pass killers back then either. So my only options were the killers that were only able to play as for free. And one of them that I noticed was Jeff the Killer, one of my favorite creepypastas. So I started playing Jeff first. I didn't do well. Okay, I did okay at first. Jeff was kind of the first killer I really started playing as first. Because I love Jeff the Killer. I still fucking do. He's really one of my favorite creepypastas. And I did okay on my first time playing Killer. And of course, I did eventually die because I didn't know that survivors can fight back during the time. But even then, I didn't bother. So even then, and eventually, as I played the game more, I unlocked later characters. I ended up playing as Sonic.exe. I ended up playing as Lord X. I played as some other killers too that I don't know much about. And then I even found out about the Game Pass killers later on, finding out that the man from the fog, or in this case, Dweller, the man from the fog is a Game Pass killer. Now, finding out that the man from the fog was in it, keep in mind, this was during V1 version of Dweller. Yes, we're all the way back to that point on. This was V1 Dweller. This was Dweller V1. That's how long ago it was when I first played Become the Killer. And this was when Slenderman didn't have the invisible ability yet. Now, of course, when I found out that some of these characters I also like are Game Pass exclusive, I was kind of disappointed at first, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it because looking back to it, I remember the time. Because here's the thing: when I played Become the Killer, I was thinking like it was gonna be one of those games. Like I thought to myself that this is gonna be one of those games that I would play at least one or twice, and I'll just never touch it again. But no, I started visiting this game more often than I expected. I would visit this game whenever updates release and such. Now, speaking of which, let's go to the next part of this discussion of this video. When I started to visit this game more frequently than I intended it to be. So, I first played Become the Killer for the very first time, right? The very old version of the Legacy version. And again, I thought it was just going to be one of those games where I play once and never touch again. I didn't hate the game or anything. It's just that's just usually how it is. Because again, my main favorite Roblox game at the time was Pillage J Sue. So when I so when I started to visit this game more often than I intended it to be, again I still enjoy playing it even when I don't visit as much. Because again, even during the time when I was visiting it as often, I didn't play it as much still. And but I remember I would play the game whenever the game would get updates, new killers, new survivors. Hell, I still remember all the scrap stuff throughout the history of Become the Killer's Legacy version. I still remember all the stuff and the stuff that was removed. As I can recall correctly, I remember the bacteria from the backwards was in the game at one point, but then he got removed. Siren Head was in the fucking game too at one point, but Siren Head also got removed as time went on. Hell, there was even two killers that were even added in during the Halloween 2024 update. I don't remember what exactly they were, but there was this tall black figure type of killer that had tentacles. And then there was another killer who had a knife and he would attack super rapidly fast. I remember all of these updates that I played. Now, keep in mind, I know people probably played Become the Killer all the way back when it was extremely old. But again, I played it during back in 2024. So this is still kind of nostalgic in a sense for me personally. But yeah, I still remember like most of the scrap stuff at least. Like I still remember like like some stuff that were in the game at the time before they got removed. I remember the new maps that were added in during the Halloween update. Yes, during the 2024 Halloween update, there were new maps that you can play. I think one of them was some kind of, I don't even remember what it was. It was some kind of weird prison map or something. I don't know what it was, but it was a cool map. And I think there was another map too as well. Oh yeah, and there's a sandbox mode. Yes, the game had sandbox mode at one point during the time, but even that got removed. So it's like, wow, it's like so much shit that I still remember despite they no longer exist in the game anymore. That's crazy. I still remember the fucking scythe you used to be able to purchase during the event as well before it got removed because it was a limited time weapon. Again, it was so, and I remember the game's old UI and such too. It's like, wow, man, this just took me all the way back now thinking about it. Um, so yeah, whenever the game gets an update, I would occasionally visit it to see new stuff, new killers, new survivors, possibly new balance changes. I guess I don't know, just some new stuff added to the game. It was, and again, I never made content on the game at all. I just still casually play it like it was nothing. So like technically, because of this, the games I would occasionally play is one Pillage 2, which is my main game. Um, two, Sonic .exe Disaster, because I remember occasionally playing that before Pillage 2. And three, Become the Killer, because I would occasionally visit it whenever it gets updated or something. Um, so that was the second part of my experience playing Become the Killer. Now we're gonna kind of go all the way. We're gonna kind of go all the way to the front of me finding out. Um, okay, so we're gonna go all the way to when I first started creating content for Become the Killer, and this was, I know it was 2025 when I first started creating content of it, but I don't remember exactly which date it was. But we're gonna go all the way to when I first started making content of it. All right, so let's skip all the way to 2025 now. Well, not the current day right now, but like somewhere between 2025. This was before I even found out about Recode. This was actually no. I found out about the game getting a Recode before I even started doing content. Or maybe I didn't, I don't know, but I did know that at the time the game was getting a Recode, which is what I'm playing right now. But yeah, so Legacy was still going around at the time, and I think I remember the first couple of videos I made about Become the Killer. I think it was like simple gameplay stuff that I did, but it wasn't really anything too crazy. It was just simple gameplay stuff, or maybe it was gameplay stuff. I don't know. Um, but then I remember the very first discussion video I made. The very first discussion video. I think that was the first ever video I made about Become the Killer, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I remember that very video that I made about Become the Killer. My very first discussion video about Become the Killer. Which free killer is the best one? Now that video was just me basically explaining and discussing about which free killer, in my opinion, is the best one. The killers that you start off with, the starter killers. That was a video I made about. Now, I actually thought of making a video like that, which is why I made the video to begin with. Now, no, of course, during the time, this was during 2025, so mainly the content that I would get the most views of is usually Forsaken and all that. Just about it. Now, so when I made videos about Become the Killer, I know for a fact that it wasn't going to get as much views or get popular. But I didn't care about that. I just wanted to make a fun video discussing about, like, which starter killer is the best one and all that. But then, it hit me. right out of nowhere. I'm not kidding when I'm saying this. It hit me out of nowhere. Harry Rode, the creator of Become the Killer, found my video and shared it in his Discord server to others that are in the server. I was in the server, by the way. I don't know if Harry knew I was in the server, but I was in the server during the time because I want to see like what new stuff that they plan to add in the future. And it's like when I noticed that Harry shared my video, I was in complete shock. I was not ready for that. Well, okay, technically I was ready. Like honestly, it wasn't a big deal really, but it's like I didn't think the video would actually like get noticed at all. Again, the only videos of mine that are usually popular for my channel, I guess, is usually just Pillage 2 or Forsaken content. But like then when I saw that post from Harry, I'm like, no fucking way. He shared my video? That's crazy. So because of that, and because of that reason alone, that motivated me to do something. Not only did it motivate me to play Become the Killer way more, but it also motivated me to create more content about the game. Maybe if I just, maybe if I made more BaK content, who knows what kind of retention I will receive in the future. And I was kind of correct on that. Those, ever since Harry posted my video on his Discord server, that just motivated me to make even more content about Become the Killer. Again, a game that I never made content out of before until now. So it's like Harry just motivated me to just keep making more videos about Become the Killer, which made me even fall in love with the game even more now that I think about it. And ever since I started making more content about Become the Killer, I made more discussion videos and all that shenanigans. Honestly, the best videos I make about Become the Killer is mainly just discussion videos. Yeah, nowadays I'll just do gameplay videos or I'll do like videos like maybe like videos like my new series Become the Killer comparison, where I would compare like certain killers and how they are in the legacy version and how they are now in recode. But like back to like the legacy era, I remember like most of the back content I make was just discussion videos and such about talking about stuff in the game and all that. Which again, it's not a bad thing, but like still, it was like something that I could come up with at the time. That's probably the best way to make back content. And I did make guide videos too, but like I don't know. I had more fun making discussion videos, really. Um, actually, yes. I actually remember my very first back video that I made. It was a guide video that I did about how to play as one of the killers, Cartoon Cat. Now, now let's get to all the way to Become the Killer Rico's first ever release. Okay, so before I talk about the whole recode thing, I want to bring up something that I forgot to mention before. So, again, I did find out that the game was getting a recode, but even then, I still made content about it. But now I want to talk about something real quick before I get to the main point of this part. So, eventually, as time went on, my Become the Killer videos, um, I want to say they're becoming super popular, but they were getting known. They were starting to get more attention, not by just Harry, but by Harry's friends, and even by fans of Become the Killer. Even by other people that enjoy the game just as much as I do. So it started getting more attention, pretty much. And that's just something I just want to bring up before I get to the main point. Right, Recode. So so just to make things clear, I knew that the game was getting a recode when I first found out about it. Now, as time went on, the recode has went through many changes as time went on because of things, I guess. And I actually played Become the Killer Recode during its testing phases. Yes, I played the Recode update. I played Recode during testing. Crazy, I know. There was multiple scenarios where the testing would open and I would join in and play it. and it was fun. And as time went on, eventually in August, I think, Recode finally released. Holy shit, it was a massive improvement from the Legacy game. Don't get me wrong, I still love Become the Killer Legacy, but comparing to Recode, massive improvements. But then, as time went on, um, things went pretty downhill. Boy, we're back to this part, huh? So, when Recode first released at the time, there were some pretty bad apples behind the scene. Okay, not necessarily behind the scenes, really. It was mainly the community. So basically, what's going on is that so there are some things going on behind the scenes, mainly due to the fact that the creator Harry Rogue was receiving a lot of hate because of Recode, and I don't understand why that even happened to begin with. Like, I loved the Recode when it first came out. Yeah, Recode had some, you know, kind of annoying things about it, but Recode did came out during the time. It still needed some time to improve. And finding out about why it closed out to begin with just kind of disgusted me. Like, Harry getting hated on so badly all because people just didn't like Recode and people like Legacy more. I get it. People didn't like changes whenever a big update happens. People don't like change. But usually stuff like that happens anyway. But I don't know, it just when I found out why Rico closed, and of course there was more reasons why it closed too, but I just want to bring up the fact that Harry did not deserve the fucking hate, man. He didn't. Finding out about Harry getting treated like shit because people didn't like Recode, it disgusted me. I didn't like that. Was not a fan of that at all because I love Become the Killer. I played the game back in 2024, so it's like hearing that a creator was getting hated on because of dumb reasons, pretty much disgusted me. Not only did it disappointed me, it also made me disappointed into the community because we've been waiting for Recode to release for a good while, and it finally released just for it to all go away because again there was reasons behind the scene, but it was because of people deciding to be toxic towards the creator and such for no fucking reason, pretty much. It was stupid. It was dumb. It made me disappointed in the community because we finally got something good and it got thrown into the garbage. Again, there was other reasons why it got closed down, but I think the more appropriate reason to why it would have been closed down because of the toxic community, because of how toxic people were to Harry. Harry didn't deserve the hate like that. It was stupid. But that's enough about that part. Now I'm gonna talk about now I'm gonna talk about the next part. Another negative thing that happened. So ever since Become the Killer Rico closed down, I pretty much couldn't make back content anymore at the time, or at least until the time. So ever since back Rico closed down, yeah, I couldn't make back content because the game was closed down. So I just straight up stopped making back content. Even though I still enjoy making back content, I had no choice but to stop making back content because of the fact that the game was closed down at the time. So I really had no choice but to close it down. No, not close it down, to stop making back content for the time being. Of course, I went back to making. I still made content in general, but not back content. The game was closed down at the time. I made content like other Roblox games too, but it's like, yeah, that's just kind of what happened. Until this happened. Now, before I talk about this point on, I do want to bring up another thing that I forgot to mention as well. During my history, when I was playing Become the Killer, during 2025, I believe, I have eventually come across Harry Rogue's other projects, like Become the Next Bot and even Become an Entity, which of course Become an Entity closed down as well, and I think Become the Next Bot even closed down too. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick before I get to the next point. Anyways, next up, Become the Killer coming back. So I found out that in the Discord server, Harry made an announcement that he's bringing back Become the Killer. However, it wasn't Recode, it was Legacy. So finding out that the game was only coming back, but it was the Legacy version, I was happy. Yeah, it was the old version of the game, but honestly, I didn't care. Knowing that I'm gonna be able to play one of my favorite Roblox games again and even be able to do content on it again, I was glad. So time went on, Become the Killer came back, but it was just only the Legacy version, and things were pretty much back to normal. I continue my usual making content, and I would still make back content whenever I. Well, actually, during that time, I didn't make as much back content, even when the game came back, because I didn't really have much ideas at the time. But as usual, I still make content regardless, and I will still occasionally make back content, even if it wasn't much. Until this happened, the beginning of DBX. So, where do I even begin with this? This started all the way back to the time when I was still a massive fan of Pillage Ace 2 and Forsaken as well. So, I'm going to tell you something real quick. So, DBX, the killer is that you guys probably already knew about by now, if you played this game long enough, is a character I made. DBX is my character. I made that character some time ago before he was actually added and become the killer. Now, DBX is from a series. I guess you could say a series at this point because I made stories about it. A media that I made that at the time was a Pillar Chase 2 concept I made up. It was a concept of a game that would play like Pillar Chase 2, which was called Death Beyond Saving. Now, Death Beyond Saving was a game concept I made up in my mind at the time, where it was a game that would play exactly like Pillar Chase 2. Even it's a horror game where one player is the monster and the rest are survivors. Survivors would actually have abilities, and so do the killers. And at the time, I had so many concept thoughts in my head of what the killers and survivors could have been. And one of the killers was DBX. Now, keep in mind, DBX was actually inspired by one of my favorite EXEs, PCX, the Sonic.exe of Pillar Chase 2, one of my favorite Roblox games still. So, I wanted to make a monster that was kind of similar to PCX in a sense. A monster that is inspired by PCX. Sonic, the Sonic.exe of Death Beyond Saving. So I created DBX. And DBX, as if you look at my channel before, you would know that DBX has the current design that he has now. At least his current canon design, where he looked like a evil demonic Sonic the Hedgehog with some nice looks and such. Back then, DBX didn't look like a typical Sonic.exe. You see, I want to give him a more copyright-free design, because at the time, I kind of was scared about copyright after finding out what happened to Pillage Ace 2 and what happened to Sonic.exe the disaster. But eventually, that fear just kind of grew out of me as time went on. I'm gonna be honest, that was a dumb fucking way to be scared of copyright, but it was something at the time. Just bear with me. So when I made DBX, I didn't make him look like Sonic.exe. Kind of made him look like I kind of make him look like a skinny, ghoulish, like humanoid monster. He looked like a humanoid monster. He had the bloody eyes, and he would have spikes on his back. He technically is supposed to be like Sonic.exe in a sense, but he wouldn't look like Sonic. And I still remember the first ever drawing I did of DBX. when it was just during his old design. And that was just about it. Nothing really much happened. Until I made the bold move of making a concept of DBX and posting it in the suggestions chat in Harry Rowe's Discord server. And because of that reason alone, Harry Rowe, because of one thing that happened, when he was working on the 2025 Halloween update, he was running out of ideas. Because of that, this is when it all started. Here it is. So, when Become the Killer's Legacy Halloween Update 2025 came out, I was excited. I planned to do a stream on it, and I was just excited. Now, keep in mind, DBX was just a concept I made in Heroic server. Of course, he was a character I made too, because again, I made that character when I was still thinking about that Death Beyond Saving concept. And again, when I made that concept, I didn't really think he actually get added in the game. And guess what? When I first started doing the Halloween stream on Become the Killer, um, I the first thing I did was I got in the game. I went to the Killer Cave to go in the Killer's side lobby, and I looked at the notes, and it says new killers, and one of the names I noticed was DBX, and I'm like, wait, what? So I look in deeper, trying to figure out DBX. Isn't that the character I made? And eventually I found him, and I started playing as him. And Harry Road confirmed that that was my character, DBX. And finding out that my character, my own creation, is in a Roblox game now, I was really fucking happy, but also shocked at the same time, because, first off, I never asked Harry to add him into BaK to begin with. But he did it anyway, all because he was running out of ideas. But it's like, wow, this is just, this is awesome. So of course, as time went on, I continued to stream as usual, and eventually I ended the stream because it needed to end eventually. And I even started maining DBX at one point. Of course, I would go back to playing as any killer I feel like playing, but then again, just playing as my own character in a Roblox game of all things just feels so good. It feels powerful. And ever since then, ever since my character DBS got added to Become the Kill Legacy, I started making Death Beyond Saving on Little Big Planet 3, sadly, which unfortunately you guys wouldn't be able to play it. Because during the time, Little Big Planet servers are shut down. Now, obviously, those who had the game were still able to play Little Big Planet, they just couldn't play online. They were still able to play the story mode, any DLCs they own, and of course, they were still able to play the moon, which means they can still create things. Now, at the time, I was making that Beyond Saving Little Big Planet. Well, at least the level itself. But I didn't get to finish it, because at the time, I was kind of lazy to work on it. But then when DBS got added in to Become the Killer, I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna lock the fuck in now this time. I locked in, boom, Death Beyond Saving was finished. However, it was rushed, so of course it needed some time to improve, and it did. And yeah, as time went on, I did improve some stuff with the level and all that. Now, keep in mind, no one else was able to play the level. So the only thing I was really able to do was pretty much just show off my creation in Little Big Planet. If no one can play it, I might as well just show off what I made so people can see the cool stuff I did, despite the fact that Little Big Planet is literally dead media. So I showed off what DBX is like in Death Beyond Saving. The level, of course, I made a Little Big Planet 3. And yeah, it was just, it was cool. And as time went on, I started doing some extra things with Death Beyond Saving. I didn't just, Death Beyond Saving didn't just start off as a concept now. It's no longer a concept. It's a full-on series I fucking started. It's a full-on fucking story and series I just started. It all started as a concept, but then ever since my character DBS got added to become the killer, I knew I had to do something, and I did do something. Not only did I make Death Beyond Saving as a level in Little Planet 3, of course, that only I was able to play, but again, I made videos to show off the nice creation that I made, just so people can be entertained. And not only that, I made a fucking lore about Death Beyond Saving. Now keep in mind, I have made up lore for Death Beyond Saving as lore, but the lore was outdated and old. So I started to cook up some more better lore for Death Beyond Saving. And as I started making better story and lore related stuff for Death Beyond Saving, I began to enjoy it. Which is why I made videos talking about the lore of DBX. Hell, I technically did 2 lores for DBX. His canon lore specifically for Death Beyond Saving, and I technically even wrote his lore for Become the Killer, since he's in Become the Killer after all. But technically both lores are the exact same lore. The only difference is that in his canon lore, which is the Death Beyond Saving lore, he would have became a Demon King a decade later. But in Become the Killer, the same thing happened. He would have left the Anonymous Lands world, but instead of becoming a Demon King a decade later, he would have eventually ended up in Area 51. Technically the same exact story, just different canons in a sense. Like, DBX has the canon lore as usual, and then there's Become the Killer, where the canon is technically different here. But I don't know. I just did so much with it. Not only that, I started making more characters specifically for Death Beyond Saving. More lore-related stuff to them too. I made characters like Nemina, and even made some survivors too. It was just... Again, it really started off as a fucking concept, and I just turned it into a full-on story, and turned it into a level on Little Big Planet. A game that no one can play online anymore because it's fucking dead media. But, yeah. That didn't really matter. It just... I still locked in. I still did what I wanted to do because I was just that into it. I was that locked in like that. And now, as time went on, oh yeah, as time went on, my second character from Death Beyond Setting also got added in and become the killer. Enrico'd as a skin for Corrupted Noob. Alter Noob. Yes, Alter Noob. Another character I made for Death Beyond Saving as well gets added in as well. So not only the DBX just got added in to fucking become the killer, but Alter Noob also gets added in too. Now I was also excited that Alter Noob got added in. This is just starting getting nuts now at this point. 2 of my characters added in a Roblox game. That's crazy. But we're getting close to the end here, so I want to get to the conclusion of this, to all of this. I just can't believe this. All of this happened in 1 year. It all started with just me being a normal, average player that nobody knew about, playing Become the Killer Legacy back in 2024. Now, I'm a fucking known person throughout the community. Every time I join a lobby nowadays in Recode and I message something, people would immediately either recognize me, or they would just see me like, oh, it's a content creator. It's like, I'm just getting attention now at this point every time I play this game. Now, I know this might sound like a bad thing in general, but honestly, I'm not really stressed out about it. Now, normally, I should be scared about the fact that I would get popular. But, then again, I'm not really worried about that. At least, not right now. But, as of right now, I'm proud of the situation I'm in right now. So, what is the conclusion of all this? The fact that I started off as just a normal player of this game. Now I'm technically a contributor of the game now. I'm not kidding. I really made an OST for this game. It's really in Become the Killer Recode. I'm technically a contributor now of this game at this point. I guess a contributor. I don't know. I didn't really do much for this game, but like two of my characters got added in. DBX is now in Rico now, and Ultanoob is in the game now as a skin. And a fucking chase team I made for DBX is in the game too, and even my voice lines in there. I'm technically a contributor for the game now. Technically. I wouldn't call myself a full-on contributor. I didn't really do much for the game. Like I said, the stuff that I made for that game isn't the best. I don't have I don't have a good music maker app to make peak music really. Hell, if I had, I know one amazing music app that I would love to get, but you have to buy it. Now, trust me, if I had the app right now, I would 100% remake DBX's chase theme for Become the Killer and such. But it's like, and right now, I think I'm pretty much proud of what's in the game now. But it's like, it's just a lot, dude. Holy shit! I just want to say thank you, Harry. Thank you so much, Harry Rogue, Mana, and the other friends of Harry Rogue for getting me this far. To be honest, I'm forever grateful. I just, again, it just started off as just me being a normal player, and now knowing how far I've gotten in this community, it's like, holy shit. This is like an early birthday gift to me of all things. Like this is like an early birthday gift that I never asked for, and yet it all happened in a matter of months as time went on. At first, it was just me being a normal player. The moment I started to pick off, like the moment I started to be noticed because I made content about this game, it's like it just it all happened within months and months as time went on. I'm still grateful about all this, really. It's like, holy shit. So, what do I do now? Am I still going to make content of this game now? Well, yeah, I am. I'm still going to make content about this game. I still have some kind of plan of what content I could make of this game. Now, I'm not going to do those content right away. I think I made enough content of the game right now, ever since the update just dropped. But it's like, hey, when I get back to making content again, I could definitely make like a guide video or something. Hell, if I go back to making guide videos, I might have to actually do even more extra stuff to them now that I think about it. But yeah, that's just, I don't even know what to say at this point, but thank you, Harry Rogue. Thank you for getting me through to all this. Really, I'm really grateful for you for this for getting me into this to begin with. Like, I never asked for this, and yet here I am right now. Forever, well, not forever happy, but like I'm just proud. I'm really happy and proud about how I gotten this far into the community. All because I made fucking content on the game on the Legacy era. Again, not a bad thing at all. But holy shit, that was a lot out of me to speak about. But anyways, that's it, everybody. That is me talking about my experience of how it all started and when I first started playing Become the Killer to how I'm playing the game now. I hope you guys enjoyed my long explanation about my history with this game. I, I'm Buzz Studios. I'll catch you all next time. Peace out, everyone.